welcome back to the Bug Junkie podcast. We're back in studio, Mark.
We're back.
Me and Mark took a little break last week. So y'all didn't do a podcast.
We didn't do one last week.
Last one we did, we talked all about that catfishing trip.
Yep.
And all that. But what else did we talk about on that one? Y'all remember? Late season stuff. Jamie had planned what we were going to do as far as cleaning out stands and all that good stuff.
You got stands cleaned out, some controversial hacking Squirt done.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Controversy.
The lumberjacks come out the woodwork.
Yeah, so Mark, you went to the Caribbean for the first time, right? Well, I wanted you told me a story a dude was asking you. He started talking. I guess y'all got on the hunting the driver.
Yeah, he asked what I done for a living, and we got to talking about barbecue and talking about buck junkies and hunting and stuff. And he's like, "What do y'all hunt up there?" And I was like, "Man," I said, "we do a good bit." I said, "We hunt deer mainly." I said, "Ducks, turkey, rabbit, squirrel." And he stopped and he said, "Them poor animals up there don't stand a chance." And I was like, "No." But anyways, we got talking about turkey hunting, and I guess he really didn't understand turkey hunting. And I guess really that you actually hunted a turkey. He only sees them like butterball turkeys in the store. I
wonder if they do have turkey. And I've never seen a turkey on the islands down there.
Hey, if they're down there, I'd like to go hunt them. But he got to telling me about when they were a kid, and we drove past a group of them. We were on the way back to the airport, and off to the side of the road, it was a bunch of these looked like little miniature whooping cranes, but they were solid black, long neck, long beak. And he was like, "That's what I call our turkey." And he got to telling me they'd get slingshots and shoot them, and said pluck the feathers out of them, gut them, stick a stick up their butt, and hold them over the fire.
They ate them.
And they ate them. And this was nothing but a big old. He called them a blackbird, I think. What he called them, but.
It looked like our blackbird.
Heck no! This thing looked like pterodactyl, man.
They kill them with slingshots.
Yeah, that's how because they don't have guns down there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, not I guess legally. I don't know.
I don't know.
He said he ain't never been around a gun, never seen one. He says, but he had slingshots. He said you go out there and find a handful of them good rocks. And what was funny, I said, "What was the rocks? The white, clear, pearly ones?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's the same ones we use."
So what they eat them?
Yeah, he said they roast them over open
What it
fire.
tastes like? Do you ask him?
I'm assuming it's a dark meat because it looked like you take a crow and a pterodactyl. Think about what it looked like.
well, they like a crane, like they eat fish.
Black
and stuff
flamingo.
I had to.
I don't know. They was
Crabs and whatever. Probably
They was up on like in the middle, like a golf course. Like they were on green grass, like just walking around
That's
pecking
gotta
like
be fishy
chickens.
tasting.
I was going to say, if he's one of them old cranes that gets out there and eats all them old nasty minnows and tadpoles.
Had no
probably-
Have y'all
green
ever ate
slick
crane?
back hair.
No.
like Sandhill's supposed to be
The best.
the best. Yeah.
They say it is the ribeye of this guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I've
Never
heard
eat
specs
one.
was. It'd be hard to beat teal. If I'd love to try it, if it tastes better than teal. Maybe we need to find us a Sandhill crane hunt somewhere. We don't have. I don't think I've ever seen one around here, y'all.
I don't know that you can hunt them in Mississippi.
They're on the chart,
There's like hit or miss regulations from state to state.
Maybe it's a coastal thing. I don't know.
Because like some of the states still have them as endangered.
Yeah.
And then you go up
Sandhills?
north and
Really?
it's like a pet, like it's a pest. Like they want to get rid of them,
Yeah.
Around here, we got, there's a lot of different kinds of cranes.
Oh, yeah.
So, trying to identify that thing, you mess around and shoot the wrong one, you done got in trouble.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I could tell. I've never seen one, so I don't know.
Yeah, I have to look them up, see what they look like, but I don't know if we can even hunt them here.
So did Pops go? What I wanted to know was you said Pops bought him a new boat, right?
He did. He actually went this morning and pick it up.
Did going catfishing on the river with David drive him? Like it pushed him over the edge? He had to have a new boat, or what's
So we've been, since Mama died, I was like, Daddy, it's like, enjoy what you can, because if something happens to you, we're going to blow your money. So
Go get it.
we've all been kind of working with him, and finally got him to buy a truck last year, and then I was like, Daddy, buy a boat. And he finally, I think that did kind of get the fire going pretty good fishing.
Well, that and I've drug feet getting his boat back running. It won't crank, so he's been fighting.
He's ready
for
to
that.
crappie fish.
He's ready to crappie fish and
Man,
catfish.
it's on, man. Have y'all been watching videos, people?
Mm-hmm.
I want to go live scope crappie fishing.
That's
It's
just
like playing a video game, but you're
Yeah.
fishing.
It's a buddy of mine. He got one of those live scopes on his boat, and I talked to him day before yesterday, and he was like, "Man, I can watch the bait go down
Yeah.
and the fish move up and grab the bait." And he was like, "Man, it is so cool." I said, "You don't feel like you're cheating?" He's like, "Heck no."
Heck no, man. We're going getting fish.
Well, that's what David was talking about. I guess when we went, he was that live scope. You know, Mississippi's got a slot limit on crappie that you literally can see. Like, I don't want to drop down in front of this one because it ain't gonna make the limit, and drop over here. This one's gonna be a fire. And they,
I saw a TikTok, and I guess they were trophy fishing crappie, And they were just doing exactly like you said. They were watching them on the live scope, and they could tell by the size of it. I mean, to me, it just was like a blob.
Yeah.
But it's moving. He said, "Oh, that's a big one there. You know, it's probably, I don't know how many inches it was. It's big as long as a 5-gallon bucket." He said, "That's the one we want to catch." And they did exactly like you said. You could see the small ones. They dropped down.
You literally see your lure or bait right in front of it.
They could see on this one the fish, like, you know, they're sitting kind of parallel with the bottom in the water. But when they drop the bait down, they can tell when they're going to bite because that fish starts lowering his rear end and he turns up. And they go, "All right, here he goes, here he goes." And sure enough, they swallow him and they got him out of the water.
I know he was saying that some of the catfishing tournaments, I guess in different tournaments, they've actually broke it up in 2 different groups. You know, one you can legally use it, one you can't.
Yeah.
Because they think it's cheating or something.
It's gonna be lucky if a lot of states don't outlaw it, I think.
I mean, do you think it's hurting the crappie?
I mean,
The thing is, you still can't make that fish bite.
No.
It don't matter if you see it or not.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I mean, if you're hunting trophy fish, I mean, it might keep you from out fishing. You know, putting too much pressure on them. You pull up to a hole and don't see the fish you want out of there. You move on to the next one.
I mean, I guess it's got its pros and cons. I guess. I mean,
I always wondered that, you know, when we was kids fishing Coldwater River, like, what's actually there? You know, to be able to see it and know, hey, I'm actually fishing a hole that's got fish in it, or you're fishing a hole that ain't got nothing in it, you know?
That's
that's still.
I'd want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That still blows my mind. You can have millions of gallons of water, acres and acres of water around you, and you drop a worm and a hook the size of a quarter, and the fish finds it. I mean, it's crazy how it's that many fish in the water. Actually,
There was one of these things I watched. I was looking at, you know, we were talking about catfishing and all that, and it was over. They had introduced some blue cats. I think it was over off the coast of South Carolina or so Chesapeake Bay, somewhere over there. And there had never been in this particular tributary, never been blue cats. Well, they introduced them on one side to this river system or something because the water had so much salinity in between it. They didn't think they would get over to the other, you know, environment or whatever.
Yeah.
And it didn't take them, I don't know how many years it was. It wasn't very long, but the blue cats they swam across. There was, you know, didn't even phase them. And they've taken over this river system so much where they said 75% of the animal life in that particular water system is blue cat now. Can y'all imagine, like, thinking of all the fish that's in there, how many of those are blue catfish? And when they showed them at night, I don't know if it was like, they didn't really explain how they were getting them to do this, but it showed it at night. And there's a video camera, you know, had night lights on it where you could see the fish. And they were just, what I think they did something like a targeted area to pull the oxygen out of the water because all these fish were coming up and opening their mouths at the top like they were trying to breathe. So I didn't know if I don't think it's feeding. I've never seen catfish feed like that. The only time I've ever seen anything like that is if they pulled the oxygen out, like doing surveys.
Them.
yeah, they can do a stun like a shock too.
You could have walked across the top of the water at night and not stepped on the water for all the catfish coming up.
Oh, gone.
Like, can you imagine that many fish? And,
We need
you know,
to take some
David said, I said
worms.
something to him about, I said something to him about it. He's like, man, I want to go fishing. He already knew about it. He's like, that's the place people are going to catch blue cat over there, Chesapeake somewhere now.
And they're in that brackish water.
Well, I think it's like the combo. I mean, there's fresh water on both sides, and there must be the way some of the part of the bay or something cuts or something. They didn't think they could make it across it for some reason, but it did not stop them. It's kind of the same thing we're seeing with these carp.
Yeah.
I mean, carp have taken over our waterways. I mean,
You talk about fish in the water. When we was at the Bahamas, I looked and looked and looked and looked and did not see the first fish.
yeah, I saw some crabs.
Yeah, saw crabs.
We didn't go out very far, but
Everywhere we went, I did not see the first fish in water. You go down around Orange Beach and pull up around them piers and docks. There's fish everywhere,
Yeah.
you know. It was not.
I imagine they're there. That's what we went to the fish fry where they
we went to fish fry.
Maybe that's why they're eating them all.
Well, you didn't have to worry about sharks if you didn't see no bait fish.
Yeah.
We
I
did eat
didn't
some,
see any sharks. I didn't see any dolphin.
we did eat some good fish down there though.
Oh, dang good fish. So, the main topic I wanted to talk about today was going to be it's time for turkeys, y'all. It's here. Next week's youth season, but also removing predators on your land this time of year. We're kind of double dipping on what we're thinking about doing.
Yeah. Me and you kind of discussed this yesterday, but we were talking about it a little bit. We're going to try to turkey hunt, but we're also going to set coon traps. But one of the other things, like dealing with our coyotes, you know, and I don't know if it's illegal yet or not. We're going to look into it and make sure it is. But, you know, when you're out there turkey hunting, a lot of times when you're calling turkeys, that coyote will try to hunt you down because he's looking for turkeys. And I don't know if it's legal or not. I'm gonna look at it and see. I hadn't done the research on it, but kind of double dip there. If we don't, call up no turkeys, we call up coyote. Are we legally able to shoot him with a rifle?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what
Or even carry
y'all,
a
have y'all ever thought about it or checked into what the legality of it is?
I think you can only shoot the caliber that is in season.
Yeah,
that's what I know. It's like that way for deer season.
it's
Like,
you
you're not
only can
supposed to
shoot a
have-
predator with whatever caliber is in season. So at that point, I guess you could shoot a slug gun,
I
No,
mean,
I mean,
shooting a shotgun.
it
Yeah, but you
says,
can't
it
use a
says
slug
it's
to kill a
restricted on the
turkey.
size of shell.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, but how are these people predator hunting with 223s and stuff like that?
They're not turkey
this
hunting.
time of year.
They're not turkey hunting.
Yeah,
You
right.
can do it.
Well,
You
that's
can-
why I
if
was-
you're specifically coyote hunting.
If you're specifically coyote hunting and you're using a turkey call, matter of fact, a TikTok video popped up, and that's what the guy was. He was predator hunting, but his decoy was, instead of the
Turkey.
rabbit tail turning, it was actually a like a turkey.
And he was
decoy.
calling turkey in distress or whatever.
Yeah, on electronic call, but he wasn't sitting out there at the mouthpiece,
Well, see,
technically turkey hunting.
So he
What
didn't have a shotgun with turkey shot in it. That's,
No, they didn't. Well, of course,
that would
TikTok
be-
can't show him shooting, but I don't know
Yeah.
what he was shooting. He just
well,
showed.
that, to me, that's what it would be. Like if you were out there and you're going,
yeah.
you could set up like you were turkey hunting as long as you weren't
I wonder if you
going to
could,
kill a turkey.
like, if me and you sit down and I've got the rifle and I'm coyote hunting and you're turkey hunting.
yeah, I don't think that'd be. I don't think that'd be.
I don't know. That's to me.
Well, the
it's
thing
a
about it
little
is,
gray
what they're gonna
area.
say is, if you got a 17 and a turkey comes out at
Yeah.
90 yards, you can smoke it in the head with
Yeah.
17 versus, you know what I'm saying? And you got somebody that would do that. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
That'd be a dang good shot.
Yeah.
yeah,
Turkey
your
head
se-
ain't that big.
with your 17, it definitely would.
I'm trying to pull it up and look and see if I can find anything.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I looked.
I'm pretty sure it's like no smaller than maybe a 4-shot, maybe,
It's something like that. I remember
or
seeing
no
that's the only
larger,
regulation.
larger than a 4-shot. I mean,
Yeah, that was the regulation I saw. That means you're not using buckshot. You're not using
Correct.
slugs.
I'm pretty sure that's how it is.
Yeah.
Now, after, I mean
Now, you can use a crossbow.
Yeah.
Crossbows are legal for turkey hunting, or I guess even
Yeah.
compound bow, whatever.
And you might get a little more range out of that.
If you're
Yeah.
shooting a coyote with it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, instead of
Would you
shooting him
be-
with a
would
number
you be
6 or number
hesitant?
5.
would you be hesitant to shoot a coyote with a crossbow bolt?
Heck
No.
no.
I think it'd drop them. I mean, if they were within 100 yards of you.
No, I wouldn't be scared to. And I'd probably stretch one out there just to see if I could hit him at 100 yards if he was out there just to,
So when you're coyote hunting, what do you think the average distance is people are shooting them? Because
coyote.
I've seen videos of them. Some of them look long.
200-300 yards.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're that
around
far.
us, 100-150 yards.
We don't have any places.
You
that
ain't gonna
big.
get them close.
Yeah, all the ones we killed this year. What we killed 4?
Mhm.
And while we were deer hunting, and they were all within 150 yards, I would think.
That
Yeah.
Well, the ones I
one snuck
shot.
up on
How far was it?
maybe 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I killed probably about 80, 90 yards, maybe.
Our coyotes don't seem as smart. Now, if you're actually hunting them, I don't know what it would be like.
Yeah.
No, they're real smart.
But them jokers, I saw more in the daylight this year, and I mean, of course,
You know, we
here
killed them-
night.
Heck, like 3 weekends in a row, somebody killed a coyote or bobcat, and it's like they disappeared off camera, and then it was like
Mhm.
they called in their brothers because they all come back in. You know, we got just a many on camera now. They did four
One
deer
or
season.
two.
I think they move around
Yeah.
chasing the food and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Well, the biggest thing that draws them to us, I think, is that ditch.
Yeah.
If ever you got a big waterway system that they can
That's
pretty much,
easily
that's their
traveled.
corridor. Yeah.
You drop it. They could drop in that ditch and go a mile or two really fast.
Really
in
fast.
that,
Easy running because
Mm.
I mean, it ain't water's only in it when it's
yeah.
storming.
Stay dry, 90% of
Yeah.
the year.
But everyone I've seen have mainly been coming from the ditch somewhere. Even on both properties, there's a ditch on both
Mm.
properties like that. They run the ditches.
And we got quite a few rabbits. So this
Yeah.
time of year they're breeding or fixing to have little ones and stuff like that. So that's probably pretty easy pickings for a coyote out there running through the thicket.
Yeah, before we jump on that main topic about turkey hunting, that's what we always talk about what's going on at camp. Y'all did a little hunting while me and Mark were gone. Jamie, you went rabbit hunting a time or two, didn't you?
Yeah.
How'd that
I
go?
didn't hunt there. I went to Water Valley one day hunting, and I'm trying to think where else we went. I guess we toward Coldwater.
How'd that go?
And the place of Water Valley had a lot of potential. It was 4 of us hunting, and me and Willie was one pretty much in the thicket working it. It was some rabbits down there, just real thick.
Did
We
you
ended-
shoot a few?
Yeah, we ended up killing 3 or 4, I think. And Daddy and them went the other day, and they killed 3 one day and 4 one day.
So y'all got on them before season's over. I guess yesterday was
Yeah,
the
yesterday last day. Yep.
Is that the ones you was trying to debone?
Yeah, that's what I put that on here because he told me about deboning the
Yeah,
rabbit.
Daddy brought me 3. Him and Willie went the other day, and I deboned them.
So what was you thinking on that? You gonna debone these
So-
rabbits?
My nephew Drake was telling me he deboned it, run it through meat tenderizer, and fried it and done it like on a sandwich. He said it's like really, really good.
Like ground rabbit?
We just run it through tenderizer.
Oh,
where it just,
okay, yeah.
It's not
kind of
ground.
like I done the tenderloin.
Yeah. And so I just pretty much treat it like a deer, but it's not as easy as a deer. 'Cause
Did bone out, so you should have treated it like
now, once I figured it out, I mean, you cut inside the rib, and you pretty much work your hand between the rib and the back strap, and it just rolls out. But a rabbit's got a lot of silver skin and a lot of just messy,
Sinew.
tissue on there you
Tendons.
don't want.
So how much, when you boned it out, how much meat did you end up with?
3 rabbits would be tough feeding 4 of us. Like the front legs I just cut off. I didn't debone them. The back legs I deboned out, and the back strap I deboned out, and you get a little bit of tenderloin meat on the inside on the swamp rabbit. But it's not. I mean, it's gonna be a decent amount to eat. I'm gonna do a practice run at the house, and might do a video or something on it.
So you gonna pound them out? Or you gonna drop them in tenderizer?
I don't know. I got that mallet or hammer or whatever. I might pound them out that way.
That's what you do with that deer,
tenderizer.
wasn't it?
It works good.
I'm scared the tenderizer is going to cut too much, and it's such a small piece of
shred it,
meat, it's
yeah.
going to shred it too bad.
Was it clean meat? I mean, it's
Once you got that silver skin, that junk off, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it don't have nothing on it. It's just
I've never
straight
heard
lean,
of
straight lean
debone
meat.
rabbit. I've always seen it quartered up,
Yeah.
Yeah, Daddy and them always take the front and the back legs off, and then
split the
split
saddle.
the back in
Split the
half
back.
and fry it.
Yeah, that's how I've seen it.
And it's good. Rabbit's good, real good.
I have had it prepared at a restaurant. Now these were probably tame raised rabbits, but it was rabbit tenderloin, and it was really good. It's tender. You wouldn't know it was rabbit.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just one of those. They're about like squirrels, or they're pretty close. You gotta cook them.
Break 'em down,
tenderize them.
yeah.
Yeah, you
They're
gotta
pure muscle.
Yeah,
you can imagine.
wild rabbit. Yeah, the wild rabbit don't do nothing but run and
And
jump.
see,
And
Willie always boils his for just a little bit before he fries it, just to kind of help break it down to get it tender. Like say it is
Parboil.
I always put mine in the crock pot.
yeah.
And
For how long?
Just depends. I mean, you liable to do it 2 or 3 hours, or it may take half a day. You go in there. I usually check them with the fork, and
You fill it up with water, like float them, or
yeah, I'll put onions and season the water up and stuff like that, and put them in there. And then once they get tender, I'll pull them out and fry them in the skillet.
just take your quarter pieces and batter,
Just take
kind
them
of flour
quarters,
dredge them.
flour dredge.
You have
them,
to cool them when you do that, like cool it down.
Yeah, I mean, I usually do. I usually will pull them out and let them sit, where I can handle them.
Yeah,
But they're not completely cold though.
but then they're tender. Then
My mom-in-law, she just straight up flour. She'll do like a egg wash or buttermilk or something like that.
Yeah.
And she'll flour and fry them, man. They're so good.
but then she cook them down in gravy, like smothered rabbit,
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just fry it, and it's
like it's
real
fried
good.
chicken.
Mm-hmm.
She
Yep,
boil
it's
it
good.
at all?
Huh?
She don't never boil
Nope.
How does she
it
get
comes
it
out
tender?
tender.
Yes, I don't know how the heck she does. As far as I know, she don't boil it. I've never seen her do it.
Yeah.
Man, every time I've fried one and you didn't boil it or tenderize it or do something to it, it's like eating tire plugs. It was bad.
So, Mike, you and Will went squirrel hunting.
We did. A buddy of mine's got some dogs, and I tried to schedule this guy to come down and round everything that we were doing, and y'all were gone, and Jamie had stuff to do, and I was like, well, crap, I'm still gonna just tell him come on down. And anyways, we went squirrel hunting. Will had a buddy of his with him, and we all went squirrel hunting. I think he had a black and tan. He had 2 little feist dogs, and man, that was something else to watch them dogs work like that. I mean, just them running through the woods and then hitting a tree, and the big black and tan, he would stay on the tree, but the little dogs, they'd run up, bark a few times, and then when he got there, they would back off, or they would, one may be way over there. He done seen the squirrel jump trees, so they were kind of holding the squirrel down until we got there. It was pretty neat.
Y'all, how many did you get?
10.
10. That's a good day. Yeah,
Yeah, we got 10, but they wasn't fitting to eat.
really.
Shoot, no, them boys been duck hunting. And when that
About like a
squirrel
wild
was,
squirrel.
Yeah.
when that squirrel was still kind of hanging, I was like, whoa, and they was bamming
They was
until
in.
he come down. I was like, y'all don't have to do that. Y'all are tearing them squirrels to pieces.
I knew the picture on the tailgate. They looked pretty.
Oh,
I don't know if y'all drug them back to the
Yeah.
gate or what.
or the dog done got
dog
them.
It looked pretty bad.
They were tenderized.
What'd you do with them?
The guy took
Guy
it.
took 'em,
He said he had somebody that would take them, and I was like, man, I would love to take them and clean them. I said, but man, each one of them squirrels weighs 4 pounds as much lead as they got in them.
That's something that's kind of. I mean, we seen it down the river. Them guys like dang a 200-inch deer, they want squirrel hunt, and that's we don't see it up here where we live. That many people squirrel hunt really, but man, you get down the Delta and they love it.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it is fun. You talk
But
about
the hard part is we've gotten older, and I know now I need glasses bad because trying to spot that squirrel up on the top of a 40-foot oak tree, it sucks. Used to, I could usually pick them out pretty fast, but now.
Did nobody tote a 22?
Yeah, he had a 22.
Did he shoot any? Or you just
the only time he shot is like if he seen it and the boys couldn't see it, he would shoot up there and make it spin around the other side of the tree, and they would shoot at it.
Oh, I bet they had a time. Then.
Oh, they did.
That's the way them boys was that went with us over there on the island, man.
You pretty much have to get in a sprint to outbeat them kids to a tree.
So where'd y'all turn out at? There on Salem or?
No, right
at the house.
Going right in front of the house. We were right behind the shop. Went down the hill to the wood stand and started right there in that hollow right behind the wood stand.
How long did it take them to find some squirrels?
Oh, so when they went down the hill.
Oh, they were there.
Yeah, they treed. Well, they treed a squirrel right off the bat. We couldn't hardly find him, and we looked and we looked and we looked. He said he's up there. He said sometimes they get in holes and stuff like that that you can't see, and he's like he's there. He just. And I didn't realize.
Did you beat on trees or what?
Yeah. I didn't take a gun, so I was the limb shaker and the whooping on the tree and pulling grapevines and stuff. So, but there's a lot of holes down there in them trees. That's what he said. He was like, man, I ain't never seen a place that don't have like squirrel nest.
Yeah,
there's a few out there, but most of them were all den trees, like big oak trees have holes in them, stuff like that. We got 4 squirrels out of one hole.
Dang! By beating, and they come out
beating on the side of the tree and shaking bushes, and he came out. When he came out and the boys shot,
I
guess some of them pellets must have went up in that hole, and the rest of them juggers came out, and they were gone.
Oh, man.
They were bouncing from tree to tree trying to get away. I think they wound up getting 2 or 3 of them. One of them got away.
That's a good day, though.
It was.
But squirrel season, it closes.
Same
as rabbit season.
It's all shut down for, I guess, a week because the 8th is when youth turkey opens. That'd be next Wednesday. So you don't get much break. You got a week to crappie fish. That's and then you get ready to take kids turkey hunting. So I guess that pretty much takes us what I wanted to talk about was turkey season, man.
Well, hang on. What did y'all do stirring up the freaking TikTok loggers?
Yeah, we weren't even hearing part of that.
Yeah. I got on there and caught up on the comments. I'm like, man, I didn't realize it was so many lumberjacks and loggers in this world.
So what Mark's talking about is on TikTok. If y'all follow our TikTok channel, Jamie, this time of year, man, really, it's probably too late right now.
Yeah,
but when y'all did it, it was like,
well, according to the guy on TikTok,
you're too early.
Yeah, we're supposed to do it in the fall.
What?
You have a window to do this. Go ahead and finish.
Well, what we're talking about
is
is hack and squirt, and what it is, it's a way of taking out undesirable trees when you got a lot of them to take out. And you want to open up your canopy, get some sunlight in. That's the whole point.
Well, first off, this is not something that us 4 sit down like we're gonna go out and do it.
We didn't make it up.
No, I mean we talked to biologists. We had
it was recommended.
Several different people from the state look at the property and they's like, this is what needs to take place to do what y'all want to do.
This is part of forestry management,
right?
And it's a process in forestry management that you do early in the year, to get ready to do your prescribed burns to make your forest better.
Yeah, you can start it as when the tree goes dormant. That's when
it's
you
not putting out green. That's
right.
That when the leaves start turning.
So we could start it in November or December, but we're deer hunting, so we ain't gonna be
trying to tromp
off
through the woods.
Tromping through the woods.
So we try to catch it in that very end, before the trees start blooming and the sap starts running in the trees. Because it will.
So what's the reason behind that? Why would you not put it? Would it kill a tree if you did it to a green tree?
And what they say it'll do is, and I hadn't tried it, but they say it more than likely it will not kill it because the sap is, it's pulling. It's got a lot of stuff flowing through it. It's back generating leaves and stuff like that. So it's a
it flushes it out.
Cycling it out. It's going to push it out to the limb.
Right. So that once you hit it and put that chemical in it, it'll just cycle it right out of the tree. So it might stun it, but it may not kill it. So then you got to go back and redo it again.
So when it's dormant, when you hit it with a hatchet, and you spray this chemical on it,
it takes in the chemical. It'll
into
take
the whole tree.
Into the whole tree, and it'll kill it from root to the top.
That's what
quick.
Yeah,
less than a year.
And we are not. This is not oak trees. This is if somebody tells us what to do with sweet gum trees, we'll do something different. Pretty much, every tree me and Daddy did with sweet gum trees.
So I had 2 people looking for loggers for us to,
Nobody wants a
thin
sweet
the
gum
trees
tree.
out and stuff like that. One reason that we do it over on Cypress Corner is when those loggers come, we don't want them coming in there.
Right.
They are going to tear up our roads. They're going to tear up everything over there, and it's just not a accessible piece of property.
Well, it's not enough there for them to be interested in to begin with.
No, they want the big oak trees. That's what we don't want to give
That's what I said. Plus, as soon as they come in, any of them's ever said anything about us, we want these trees. We want these oak trees.
Yeah.
We don't want them to give them our old growth oak trees.
And these, what we're killing isn't big enough for a logger to look at anyway.
No.
I mean, these ain't but 6 or 8 inches around the base.
Yeah, so you're not talking about killing full-grown 150-foot trees.
No.
These are all new growth.
Yeah. New growth.
And
They're no older than 8-10 years old, probably. Maybe a little older than
So
that.
why kill them?
Mainly.
What's your goal? What would you say if everybody needs to know the goal of killing those trees?
So the hack and squirt method is good if you don't want to damage your property with equipment. Because if you go in, you start letting loggers come in and stuff like that. And then there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That if you have the means of doing that, and you have the acreage and it's beneficial to you,
Let them select.
let them do it. It's a good process.
Yeah.
But like with that piece of property, it's hard to access, and we don't have enough trees in there for them to really, like we said, they want those big oak trees, and we don't want them to get those. So we don't want them tearing the property up because there's a lot of hills and stuff like that, and they're gonna mess it up.
And
they're
ruts and
yep. They'll turn it into a swamp and erosion and stuff like that. So this process leaves the smallest footprint, as far as damaging the property or anything like that.
Why not cut them down with a chainsaw?
So you
Because
tell
they're still
me,
alive. You cut it down with the chainsaw.
you still got to come back and spray the stump.
If you've ever cut down a sweet gum, you cut down a sweet gum.
It's gonna make 4 more sweet gums.
Come springtime,
probably
4 sprigs will come out the top of it, and they will take off.
That's what I was getting at.
and we're doing this sweet gum trees, as far as we know, really no benefit to nothing.
It's an invasive species to our state.
Yeah.
A deer don't eat it, turkey don't eat it, a bird don't eat it, squirrel don't eat it. So we're getting rid of that to let undergrowth for cover for our wildlife,
Habitat.
for food for our wildlife. And
I think most comments are like, well, I can do that with the steel.
yeah,
So-
I
You
mean,
can.
You could.
You can't.
No,
but-
you can't in the time y'all done it.
no,
No, that was what I was getting at.
It would
How
take
much
you-
time are you talking about running a chainsaw for weeks?
But not only that, as dense as those thickets are that
can't
we're
lay-
killing,
yeah, you
they're
can't-
not going to lay down, so
No.
they're going to hang up in other trees, and you're going to constantly be cutting. And now you created a dangerous situation. You got a bunch of hung up trees.
Yeah.
Well, that was another comment people were making about y'all are just making a minefield for trees. Well, you tell me how many people had a dead tree fall on them. You tell me how many people got injured with chainsaw.
Yeah.
That's right.
I ain't finna go out there and stand in the woods just to be hanging out
Yeah,
and see if a
and
limb
where-
will fall on me.
Where we did this, we're not in them woods
No,
every time
we
we're down
know
there.
where we done it at.
Yeah.
We know if somebody says, "Well, I'm gonna go down there and hunt," hey, we killed
Don't
a bunch
climb
of
that
trees
dead
down
tree.
here.
Yeah.
So if you go in there, just be aware that there's some trees that we killed down through that patch of woods. We didn't
And-
kill every tree.
These trees
No, only
don't.
only the sweet gums.
Yeah, sweet
Sweet
gum trees is all we did.
And two, a guy made a comment on there, and I should have wrote his name down or whatever. But anyways, he was stating, and it makes perfectly sense. And he does this hack and squirt, that killing them this way, the tree loses all its mass. So it's not a 200-pound limb up there. It's dry.
Sucks,
Right.
Yeah, full of
Yeah,
water and sap.
It's
It
a
doesn't
bone.
pull. It's not
Yeah.
pulling your moisture out of your ground, so it's letting your desirables grow.
Yeah.
They're not foliating out. You're not getting all the.
They're not a
leaves, so
heavy
sunlight's
tree
coming in.
standing that's going to want to fall.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to fall. But when it falls, it's basically, you already created mulch. When it
Yeah.
hits the ground, it's
Yeah.
going to bust up
Break
because it's
up.
just a dry
Yeah.
piece of wood.
And we saw some of that last year. Now that was one thing I was wondering when you did it. How long is it going to take to kill, just say, a tree that's 6 inches around, 8 inches? Is that about the size of trees y'all looking for? 6 to 8
Yeah,
inches
they
around?
were anywhere
Yeah.
from 2 inches in diameter up to about 8 inches, something
Yeah.
like that.
They're dead in 6 months.
So isn't that crazy?
They
They're
may,
standing.
they may try to foliate in the spring, but they'll be little shriveled up leaves, and then it'll just pretty much from there the process starts of it dying.
Yeah.
So
All
by
right,
the
so-
time we get there, during the fall, the tree's pretty much dead, and as much wind and stuff as we
Yeah.
get. The place where me and Mark done that last year, that whole bottom, the trees have laid down, and they're dead. They're laying on the ground, most of them. There's a few of the bigger ones that are still up, but most of those are on the ground and laying down there. And now it's grass fixing to grow in there, plus the
Yeah.
mulch, and good for the ground, and it's just
And
It's
then
a-
all that gonna go back and create cover and food and everything
Yeah.
for all the wildlife.
All right, so why didn't we hinge cut them?
That was another question I had. Y'all know what hinge cutting
Yeah.
is.
so.
So when's the time and place to do that versus
If you want to create a almost an inaccessible thicket for deer or for you
Anything.
but yeah. So when the process of hinge cutting is you're not cutting the tree completely off. You're cutting it until it bends over and it lays on
Kinda
touches the ground. The tree's still alive, and it is a good process if you want to create a thicket for deer to lay in.
that's what I thought.
Now, you're
Bedding
pretty much
areas?
not going to be riding a four-wheeler in there or going in there accessing that too much.
But where we did it is so thick that wouldn't work. Period.
No.
Again, you wouldn't make the tree fall because it's so thick.
Yeah.
And to me, hinge cutting it, you're not putting any more sunlight to that ground to create foliage or anything else.
You're getting a little bit, but not like
Because that
what
tree
we're
still
doing.
lives. It still puts out.
Yeah, it
it's
still
just
puts
going to
out.
make a bush pretty much,
Yeah.
right?
And it eventually probably will die
Die.
if it breaks on over or you cut it too far or something like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people that I watch do that, and I'm gonna do some of that on some of our property. And, create
Select areas. though.
select areas that
Yeah.
it may not be at an acre or maybe 2 acres. I'm gonna do that in places we don't ever go or
Sanctuary
fool
type,
with.
sanctuary type
type places. I'm gonna hinge cut and put those in. But where we're doing this that's our main forest. That's our main place that our deer
Full of oak
move
trees.
around, full of
Yeah.
oak trees. That's where they feed at night, and we're just trying to start the process of being able to get those desirable trees in better shape and the forest in better shape in those areas.
So they're going to put on more mass because they don't have as much competition with these little trees.
And it could have been just pure coincidence, but where we done it last year, all those oak trees right there along that road put way more acorns off this year than I've ever
I
seen.
noticed that too. But I mean, you got to think how many trees come out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's more to it than you're just trying to kill a tree. And yes, you're trying to get rid of your undesirable trees, but it's more to it than that. And yeah, you could run through there with a chainsaw all you want, but you'd still be down there cutting. And we can knock out 500 trees in a couple hours.
Yeah. If you've ever seen a gum thicket, I mean, you pretty much there's no limbs inside of there for anything to build a nest
It's
in
just
except for at the
Tree
top.
after tree.
They just look like a bunch of toothpicks
Yeah.
sticking up out
Yeah.
there, and there's nothing uses them.
So what happens? Those grow like that. It's because more time that was some kind of field
Yeah, it was
or
just
something that used to be some kind of cropland or something that people just let go.
they just let it go.
Yeah,
and that's
that-
the most invasive tree.
Yeah,
that-
them trees are
and it's
going.
windblown seed.
Yeah, they gonna grow faster and get taller and bigger quicker than oak tree will.
Yeah.
So they gonna if it was oak trees there, they drown them out.
You got a lot of different trees. They're all of them are different. You got acorn trees. I mean, that has a seed that drops on the ground, and like sweet gums, some other invasive ones, they're windblown seeds, so they just kind of
Disperse.
it blows through the air. And even if you ain't even got a 1,000-acre hay field, don't cut it for about 2 years and see what pops up in it.
It'll be sweet gums.
It'll
first.
be sweet gums.
We're already
first.
seeing it, and you can see it more so on hillsides where the wind does blow and it catches a lot of it.
Mm.
Get sweet gums and thorn trees.
Yeah.
Yep. What is it? Crap. What's that one tree? This got the big thorns on it.
Not
Black
thorns. What?
Black locust.
Yeah, locust tree. And the other thing was, why don't y'all use that for firewood? You asking for a chimney fire trying to burn some
Yeah.
sweet
Well,
gum.
So when the shop was built, it was a blown over sweet gum tree that from that tornado that come through. I got down there and I'm thinking this right here been sitting here for a year. Man, it's like rubber. You could not. It's been laying
Ain't
there for
gonna
a year,
burn.
and you could not split it. You hit them all. I mean,
You better have a really, really hot fire to
Yeah,
drop
to
a
burn it.
sweet gum
Content on it.
log in
It's
there.
just you think of sweet
Density.
gum, it's gummy tar or
Yeah.
gummy sap. You know, it ain't going nowhere.
And it'll create that sooty,
Creosote.
gummy
Creosote.
creosote all in your chimney. It'll catch on fire.
Yeah.
I can't find anything people say use them for.
I mean,
There's some old tinctures and stuff that they say Indians used for, you can make some medicine out of sweet gum balls or something. But
we
you
got a
boil it down and drink.
we got a full fledged pharmacy down there then.
Yeah.
Gotta-
And
But I mean, the other option would be if you didn't do the hack and squirt, or you didn't get in there and spend hours, you could mulch them.
well, them right
They're
there,
running
you'd
there.
have to have
It's too thick.
a skid steer that's I mean, you had something bigger than a skid steer to mulch that amount of
Again,
trees.
you're being invasive going in there.
Or
Tearing up more?
you'd have to have an excavator or bulldozer in there.
But what do you do with them once you get them on the ground?
Then
you got
then you
burn
got
them.
to
set
burn
'em on
it.
fire.
Gotta burn. Well, see, that's what I mean. The hack and squirt goes with prescribed burn because ultimately that's our goal.
Yeah.
Right.
They
We wanna
fall
get-
over. They're going to be dry. They're going to burn up.
We want to get into a burn condition where we can do, select areas. We can rotate out.
Yeah.
Crap,
Yeah,
you just said burn. Here comes another controversy.
I mean, hey, it really is a good thing.
But
It
that's
is.
the
That's the
proper
best
way
thing
to
for your
manage a
forest you can
forest.
do. It's the best thing you can do
Yeah.
for your
I'll
forest.
be 100% honest. When we first started talking burning, I was the first person in my mind like, that's just no way, no. And
It doesn't sound right.
no, and I got to researching, and I mean, if you look back, that's God's way of replenishing the earth anyway.
That's right.
They go in and burn all the junk off and fresh new green grasses on the ground. Like me and Mark was in Arkansas last year riding. There was thousands of acres.
Some of them still smoking.
They
And it
done
already had green
prescribed
grass
burning
growing.
on it,
Really?
and you can see where they burn it in sections. And this has been, the guy said some of it been a couple of weeks since they burned it, and it already had 6 or 8 inch tall blades of green grass everywhere out there.
Well, 200 years ago when the Indians were, all over the country,
They didn't have a
they
tractor
didn't
and bush
have all
hog.
that stuff.
No,
so
that's what they
the way
done. They
they
burned.
managed their property and the way God managed the property and just nature in general, lightning strikes hit those grasslands and stuff and would burn them off. And the Indians figured out burning them down, and it regenerates and brings back those grasses and
Right.
things that they can utilize.
The only other complaint I've seen says you're spraying a chemical on a tree.
All right, I got a comment on that.
I do too.
So,
You ever seen a
sci-
skidder that didn't leak?
well,
I think
no, I got
that hydraulic fluid is way worse than what we put in them trees.
I got something better than that. The same people that's griping about the chemical, the same people playing the guy that comes spray chemical on their yard every day
on pretty grass.
to clean the grass, the same people that washing their car out in the yard with chemical, the same people, it can go on.
I
and
worked on equipment. I ain't never seen a skidder that didn't leak. I ain't never seen a chainsaw you didn't spill gas on or chain
Spit
bar
oil the
oil.
whole
Yeah.
time.
If you're using chemicals properly, you're using the right ratio, the right amount, you're not overspraying where it runs off. I mean,
You're not washing your buckets off in the local
Yeah.
spring. I mean,
And we
it's that
did-
common sense.
Before we done this, made sure for the next couple of days it wasn't going to rain, and it
Yeah.
didn't. I mean, it was cool, but it didn't rain.
that you can misuse chemicals, but they are a very, I guess,
Important
quick
tool.
way. Yeah, it's an important tool to use if you can use them. You just got to make sure you're using them properly.
Not next to a
Yeah.
water source and all that. I mean, it's either way. There's always a negative side effect no matter what you do. Whether you went in there with a chainsaw, the only way you're gonna go in there and cut it and not hurt anything, get you a hatchet out, and that ain't me.
I ain't cut the trees with a hatchet.
But there's a lot of ways to manage trees, manage forests. There's nothing wrong with. I don't think there's nothing wrong with any of them as long as you're managing them. If you use equipment, that's a process. And if if that's what's best for your property, that's what you use. If it's a chainsaw, if it's a skidder or, logging or something like that, there's nothing wrong with that. But, in our instance, this is we just wanted to show everybody how we kind of managed our forest with that process in that area. And, other areas, if we ever find somebody to log it, we're going to log it.
And we did try.
yeah.
We reached out to multiple sources trying to get somebody to come in and do some logging, and it was
You have to have a big enough piece of property for them to be interested
Just-
in
Yeah,
starting.
The wood's
You
got to
have-
be worth
right,
something. If sweet
yeah.
gum wood was worth something, they'd want it.
Yeah.
My biggest selling point is you go down there right now and take a picture of that property y'all done that on, and it's untouched. You'll never know anybody's been
Yeah.
there. You go down to somebody where a logging company's done
Well,
been there
for
a week
instance,
later,
Yeah,
tell me
40
what it looks like.
the 40
Oh,
acres
yeah.
down the road from us. It looks
Man,
like a tornado went through. It's
Like
horrible
a
looking.
bomb hit it.
It's horrible.
I mean, they clear cut every tree. Well, not every tree. The ones they left were really crappy.
And that, I mean, not a single wildlife piece of animal out there ever knew y'all was there. I mean, they'll be back through there feeding that afternoon.
Yeah, they were back out there in front of the
Yeah.
camera.
Right.
But I mean, there's nothing wrong with logging your property. There's nothing wrong with it. There's
If it
different
fits.
there's different contracts you can get, and that's something you need to be careful of. When you hire somebody, you make sure it's in the contract that they put your roads back the way they found them, and different things. You need to get somebody, a forester or something, to negotiate that
Yeah,
for
keep-
you. You don't
Like I say,
need
me and Mikey talked to the guy, and that's what he was very, very, very pushed is watch what your contract says, because just because a logger guy's going to come log, you better make sure what you're getting and what they're leaving.
Yeah, because some of them will come in there, and I'm not. I
Like I said,
don't-
everybody's not
everybody's
this
heard.
way.
Everybody's heard stories about this, but there's people that take advantage of.
That's
people,
right.
and you got to be careful. You got to make sure they're they're on the up and up, and they're a good company, and best thing to do is hire you a forester.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're out there. You can find them.
Well, if you're going to do the hack and squirt, talk to a biologist.
Yeah, you need to talk to a
Most people
biologist.
states have, assistant type programs that are free. Like that's how we got to talking to them. In Mississippi, I mean, they will come out. You set up an appointment. They'll meet you at your property and give you advice on what to do. They want to make the land better too. So that's one of those services. And we pay taxes. It pays their salary.
And we were asked, I guess it was last year when we met down there, like, what do y'all want? Do y'all want a beautiful property that's you're gonna turn around and turn profit on timber, or do you want a property for wildlife and game and whatever? And that's
They
what we're
look
going
totally
towards.
different.
Yeah, they are.
That
They
is
do.
a totally different management process.
Yeah, if we're doing timber for money, we'd have come in there with the equipment and took it all out and set it back out and been done. But if you, from a deer hunting perspective or just a hunting in general, what we want to do, we want to be the least impact on the land.
Yeah. You find you a biologist in your area, and the state has them. We've had John Grucci on here. He spoke about some things that he helped us do, and he's not our biologist up here anymore.
Yeah.
We got a new one, but you talk to those guys and let them come out, let them get on your property and kind of accept. I ain't even saying that. Assess.
Yeah,
Tongue twisted there for a minute. Assess your property, and then you tell them, like, they're going to ask you, what do you want to do? How do you want to maintain this forest? How do you want?
What's your goal? What's your long-term goal?
What's your long-term goal? And you tell him, and they will tell you step by step what you need to do. Food plots, trees, all of these different things. Native grasses, how to manage them. They give you ideas on what to do, and they give you options on what to do too. And the hack and squirt was one of the options.
Yeah.
That was the most efficient way for us to clean up our woods the way we wanted them.
And pretty much what we took out the other day, in the past 2 years, we've gone and replanted that in different locations. I mean,
that's exactly what you do.
We've probably, I ain't gonna say we planted as many trees as we killed,
Heck
because
no,
it's a lot harder to plant trees than it is.
We hacked a lot of trees.
But we've put mass bearing, desirable trees back.
We've planted
taken out
the
non-desirables.
We've planted 100 oak trees, and I don't know how many persimmon trees and different things that our animals are going to utilize, so the trees that we took out, we've replaced those back. We just didn't go out and wipe them out.
And we did find, I think, what I tell you, 2 persimmon trees in that thicket, and we left them in there. But
we dodged all those.
Yeah.
Well, you do. So when you do the hack and squirt, you're really learning your woods too.
You are.
Because you're going through there, you're identifying where your good trees are. You might find some, it's kind of like scouting.
Yeah.
When you get that looking the way you want it to look, you can go back in there and hunt because there's a big white oak in there that we left, or there's a persimmon tree that's going to be ready to bow hunt. Or it just lets you see your land. You get more familiar with it. As far as from the chemical standpoint, you talk to your biologist is going to tell you what kind of chemicals. You go talk to your co-op guy. He's going to tell you how to mix it, what safety equipment you need and all that. It's not just go run to Lowe's or Walmart and buy some tree killer and you're going to go out and start hacking them,
Yeah, I think
poison them. It ain't that easy.
What do you say? Read the label, dumbass, or something like that. I read the label. I said call you local co-op.
Yeah.
Somebody that does not have the certification that I have.
Right.
You can't just go buy that chemical.
Yeah.
You have to be certified.
Anybody can buy it, can't they?
You can, anybody can buy that one.
It's not.
And you don't have to buy. Yeah. Somebody made a comment about a $700 jug. It's not a $700 jug.
No. I wouldn't have bought that junk.
Yeah. And you can't.
That's one thing is the budget. The hack and squirt's budget minded.
Yeah.
And you can buy it in, I guess, a quart size or smaller size. You don't have to buy a 2.5 gallon
jug will last you years.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much?
It'll go bad before you use all of it.
So we used.
Probably not even a gallon.
It was 2. Probably 24-ounce spray bottles, probably 30 or 24-ounce or 32-ounce spray bottles. That's what we used 2 of them the whole and the whole time we was there.
And I think when me and Mark did a larger area than y'all did that time, and I think we filled the bottles up.
We might have used a gallon.
Yeah, we might have used
that. Not a straight chemical.
No, not a straight chemical.
Diluted chemical.
What do you dilute that to? Off the top of your head?
It ain't much.
20 to 1 or?
I think it's more than that.
Hell, I can't even remember, Mal.
Just whatever they said at the co-op.
Whatever
co-op guy said.
Whatever
read the label.
Read
the
label.
label.
But now, hopefully, that cleared it up. And, it's a reason for it, and it is beneficial. But again, do what fits your property. What your local biologist says.
Yeah.
Do your research.
That's the main point. We were just getting that out there to show everybody a process that they may or may not have known about.
It stirred the pot. Now people know what hack and squirt is.
Yeah.
I like it.
Don't go doing it to your neighbor's trees.
No,
Yeah.
That was a couple comments on there too.
Yeah.
Hey, some guy did it to
Auburn.
Toomer's Corner in Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the
Alabama
hell out of
fan.
'em.
He wouldn't think, did the
And
same
that was oak
thing.
trees or whatever.
It was
they were.
live oaks.
Yeah.
They've been there for years, like hundreds of years.
if you ever do that and you get off your property and do something like that and have to pay for trees,
Oh,
You
Yeah.
pay for their
Pay
grown
for
value.
you fix to file bankruptcy.
Man,
Because depending on the size and how old it is how much that tree cost.
yeah.
At the end of the day, we done the hack and squirt to have better nesting for what? Turkeys.
Turkeys. Yeah, that's right.
Now
It's
we can talk
now
about
we can
what we
talk
wanna talk
turkey season. We probably, so we got some weeks to get into turkey season. I thought we would just touch on it today because it's coming up. What we've seen so far this year, what some of our plans are as far as turkey season's going. You know, what was everybody going to hunt with? Just things like that. That's all I wanted to talk about today. And then we're going to get into a little bit of the predator stuff.
Like
What
they- as far as a turkey hunt, I'm not a turkey hunter. I've never killed a turkey. I've been
It's
several
time.
times.
It's your time,
Yeah.
Jamie. We're going.
But you better-
Deer, you're going to get a turkey. We're going to put turkey.
This all goes back same thing talking about deer hunting and shooting a gun. You better get out there and shoot that shotgun and see what
Yes.
shells it shoots, if it shoots high, low, left, right, if it likes it or don't like it or
So
what.
before you, same as with a deer
That's
hunt.
right.
We talk about getting your equipment ready. You get your equipment ready first. You make sure that your gun is patterned. You know what shot shells is patterns or that you're happy with. There may be other ones that pattern better, but you set up that target and you check the density of that shot at several different things, several different yardages, 20, 30, 40, 50. I don't suggest shooting past 50. Some people do.
What's them
Nothing wrong with it. but
TSSs, whatever. They some
Bad dudes.
Now you're gonna spend $80 to $100 a box. They
Yeah.
bad.
You shoot. Said it. I was pricing this morning, $74.99.
Yeah, for
Max Prairie
five.
Wings for 5.
I got a box
I got some of
there
them.
too.
I hadn't shot one yet.
So back on that, I'll buy just a similar size shot and just
So that,
Walmart or something like that and see how good my gun
Yeah.
is, and then I'll put one of them $high shells in
so when
there.
it comes to turkey hunting, what gun are y'all carrying? Y'all carrying 20 gauge, 12 gauge,
12.
410?
12's I mean,
I mean, I've
Everybody's
always been
12.
12.
I mean, I think I'm 12. I bought Michael a 20 gauge to turkey hunt with, and I thought that's what we were going to use, but he's been shooting a 12 gauge, so I think I'm going to let him.
I mean that 20 gauge I got, it'll group the heck out of them. But
I got a good 20. That Montefeltro would be a good one to try and see. Has
I'm
Michael
a-
shot a turkey load yet?
No. And that's what I was
Don't
getting
tell
at.
him.
So you're talking about pattern. Like how many different, for a particular gun, I know every gun shoots different. They're going to like different loads or different
Yeah.
shells or whatever. What would you suggest for somebody new getting started out with turkey, trying a new gun? How many different brands of shells should they try to shoot through?
if you was new,
I
I'd
would buy
definitely do a
3.
20 gauge.
Just 3?
Yeah, I mean
You did 20?
yeah. I mean, if it's a kid 20 for sure, that because that turkey load's gonna thump you a little bit. With us,
Way more than a duck load.
yeah. But if you're looking for shells and stuff like that, like Jamie said, I mean, you can find some cheaper shells that you can maybe pattern the gun with, and then move up to buying a high dollar shell. If you
You
just
think they're
if you're
going to
on a
shoot that
budget,
much difference
Yeah.
out of that gun?
you still need to shoot that high dollar one out
Yeah.
of the gun just
Yeah.
to make
At
sure.
least once.
At least once, but you can at least find because 4, 5s, and 6s, which is the 3 most common shot size in a turkey load, the density is going to be different. Up close it may not be. It may be close to the same, but once you get out further,
Yeah, you break
they fly
20, you
different.
break 25-yard barrier. It changes a lot.
Yeah, they start flying different ounce shots, different 3 or 3.5. All that it's all different.
Well, for instance, Daddy's got that new Benelli, and we had to change the stock or shim it or
Shim it.
whatever because he kept shooting low.
So that's what I was going to get at. Me personally, if I was start from scratch, I'd get your shotgun out and I would get just some cheap dove loads and pattern it there to see that it's actually true with your line of sight, that it ain't shooting low left or high right or whatever. Start with that and then step
At
up.
what distance we talking? Like
30
20
yards.
Yeah, 25, 30
Yeah.
yards. And most
You're
of
just
the
wanting
guns,
to make sure your line of sight's good when you shoulder that shotgun, that you're actually, what you're looking at is actually what it's hitting.
I know Browning, Benelli, Beretta, Franchi, however you want to say it. All
can
them,
shim the
all,
butt
all them
pad
come with shim. Does
and the-
Remington and Winchester, they come with the shim kit with
I
them.
don't think
I
the
don't
first
think
Max
so.
has one.
But I mean, and it's totally crazy. It's like almost
You
not
can't
even
look at it.
not even visible difference in them shims. And Daddy's, I put too big a shim on Daddy's now. He's shooting a little bit high. But
But even without the shims, though, different different brands of shells will fly.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, like
Yeah, for sure.
one will shoot high, one will shoot low. You know, one may be dead on where you're aiming at. You know, they move around. So you know, you need to make sure you're
So that's
So
what
what's the takeaway? Just get out there and shoot it a few
I would-
times. Figure out
I would
what
set
to
a-
shoot.
yeah.
turkey target up 25, 30 yards. Just like Mark said, just get a heavy load 6.
Just get used to shooting
Dove,
and make
something
sure
for dove hunting.
the
or rabbit
gun
hunting.
fits you.
Yeah, because you're sitting there. It's a different when you're turkey hunting. You're not standing up, you know, like shooting duck stuff. You're sitting down with
Most
your
time
knees
you're on your
stuck up
butt
in
and
your
knees.
chest, and you have to hold that shotgun. You know that in you don't have to hold it the entire time, but you know I've hunted birds where I had them out there for an hour, and I had to
You're up.
hold that gun on my knee for that long before that bird finally got up there and I killed it, or I didn't kill it. You know, but you need to make sure that gun is comfortable sitting like that. You know, they make a bunch of different shotguns.
And a
And
bunch
not
of
all of them
different chokes.
fit. Yeah, not all of them fit turkey hunting. So you need to make sure you get a shotgun that feels good and is comfortable with you, and you're comfortable shooting.
Make me want to pattern my 20 gauge now.
There you go. You got to.
Everybody's,
Speaking of
everybody's
sitting on
going
the
to
ground or whatever, I know we kind of watched where our turkeys were during deer season. We saw a ton. Now they've dispersed. I guess
Yeah.
turkeys do
Not
their thing.
everywhere. You
Uh,
see that old gobbler
I
behind
saw-
the house?
I saw one behind the house. He
We
was-
ain't seen that in a while.
Yeah, he was right behind the house. So we've got a few birds around. Now they're not like they were. I mean, we were infested with them back
Mhm.
during deer season. But now that they've dispersed and we've kind of seen how they feed through the property, what are y'all's thoughts on setting up blinds, moving some of our like that bog blind or some of these other, you know, the Primo's double bull we have, and setting them up to where you're not just
It's
on
got to
the
be on the
ground.
food source, I feel like.
Well, it's
Yeah.
different what we got versus if you're hunting like Daddy and y'all go.
Government
Y'all
land.
go
Hill country,
government,
government
yeah,
land.
you go government land. You might hear a turkey or might not hear a turkey right here. You might have to walk heck a quarter or half a mile before you hear a turkey. So in that instance, blinds don't to me wouldn't be beneficial. But yeah, what we got down there, we got the plenty big good sized food plots. Yes, you can set a blind up on it. I think.
What
And that's-
I'm thinking is like, so you know where they're, you kind of get an idea where they're roosted. Now you could go out there at night and call them the night before and see if you can pinpoint them or where you're seeing them. But you know during the day they're going to feed through here at some point.
Yeah.
Typically, would it be beneficial to have you a blind set that you could use? And I know you still got
Yeah,
to chase
I
them and
think
do
it
all
would be.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they make
but-
them little blinds that kind of just pop up in front of you. You know, you
I've
sit
seen
by a
some of
tree.
those,
That's, I mean, that's
yeah.
better than nothing.
I mean, I could set a permanent blind out, you know, and I'm going to. I'm gonna set a permanent blind in that plantation field where I know they, you know, kind of down there towards where I know they feed at.
Yeah.
Where you can go in there and sit down and be comfortable. And if they don't, like if you're not running and gunning, what we call it, where you walk
Yeah.
out there and locate one and then try to run it down, you know, get up
Yeah.
on it. And but if you're just going out there, you just going to turkey hunt, you know, you and a kid or whatever, just you want to go out there and hang out and play on your phone. You can
And
do
wait 'em
that
out.
and wait them out until you know you see them or you hear one and just call periodically, and or you just wait on them to come out there and feed. You know, a lot of people don't even use turkey calls.
Yeah.
They just
Well, that
pattern
was what
the
I was.
turkeys and try to catch them feeding.
I was thinking more from a beginner standpoint. Like you taking a kid or something like that. You could put a chair in it.
Put them in a blind.
Keep
You
them
got
comfortable.
you got a stick they can shoot off of. They're not having to, you know, it's not like you're just running through the woods, sitting up against a tree fast and trying to get them to hold a gun for an hour.
'Cause a turkey
That'd
does
be
not-
hard for a kid. To me, it would. Or it'd
You
be hard
think-
for me.
you think
I'm
deer
no
hunting with a
turkey
kid?
hunter.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you go turkey hunting, you're
The
gonna be
turkey-
disappointed.
Well, the blind will
Don't miss
also
nothing.
conceal you some too. You get
Yeah.
away with a little more movement because you're not doing that on the ground, right?
No.
Better not. You better not move. You better not move. You're gonna
You-
get busted.
Yeah, because you don't know always know that you know this has happened so many times, and you don't want to get disappointed with a kid doing this. But so many times I've called up a Jake or a hen that came up first before that big gobbler that was gobbling back in the woods 100 yards or 200 yards got to me, and them jokers had walked right up in my freaking face. And I mean, I've spooked them by breathing.
Yeah.
Just my body movement, just me taking a breath.
Yeah, because if you start calling with her out there or Jake out there,
Yeah.
they finna pinpoint you.
They're on you,
Yeah.
you know.
And they're going to come check you
Oh
out.
yeah, I mean I've had one eye me like at the stand had to go under my gun barrel
Oh, that close?
that close.
Dang. Yeah, I ain't never seen that. I had them close to my stand this year deer hunting. I mean, I've never.
Oh, if a turkey could smell, you'd never kill it.
So,
Never kill
so
that joke.
does a turkey have the best eyesight out of any animal that we hunt in Mississippi, you think?
Yes,
Because they're born scared to death to start with.
yes. Birds' eyes are some of them. I mean, you
That's
think
right.
about a hawk or something like that, a predator bird that's flying 200 feet in the air,
See a mouse.
and it sees a mouse on the ground. That turkey can see just like that hawk.
Yeah. That's
You-
crazy.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's not easy. So yeah, back to what you was talking about, like the blinds. Like if you're gonna take a kid turkey hunting, it's good to take one of those little pop up blinds, like Mark's talking about, one of those little fast set up blinds, or some kind of
That you can just like shit out in front of you.
Shut down,
yeah.
kind of cut down on the movement.
yeah, because they're gonna move. They can't help it. They're little. They don't know. They're gonna try. They get excited and the turkey's moving and they're trying to stay on the turkey and they don't know to like let it go behind a tree before you make a move and it'll pick up on that kid.
So what you're
fast.
saying, our chances of killing one aren't good.
If you're in the blind, you're probably okay.
Yeah.
But
And I think the technology,
Hawks, I like
the advancements they have and all these new braces and pods and all that to hold your gun up, that's a huge.
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
That's because, like you talking about, you might sit there with that gun in front of you for an hour and a half.
my
right?
arms have went numb before
Yeah.
sitting there holding it that long.
I'm
And you
a-
can't move. You can't do nothing. I mean, you got 2 or 3 turkeys around you, and man, you can't move.
I'll just stick to breakfast duty.
You gotta do.
Yeah, I got the breakfast. Y'all go
I
shoot
do.
birds.
I do want to
I
kill a turkey.
want to shoot one. I at least want to. I want to get a shot at one this year. Last year we got close.
I mean, I've had
I
them.
took Michael, and it was exactly everything you're saying that's going to happen happened. And we got to within, I don't know, maybe 150
Michael
yards.
ain't gonna sit still. That's the
150 yards. But it was not successful at all. And we got now. I thought it was good to get one to talk to you. I mean, if I get one to talk to me, it's like
yeah, but what
your
he say?
hair's. I don't know what he was saying.
You sound like crap. What are
He
you
was
doing?
probably saying there's a fat guy sitting on the ground over there. Don't go over there. But when they gobble back at you and you're sitting there and you know that he's
Yeah.
communicating with you and your hair goes to standing up on your neck, I can't promise you I'd sit still.
Also,
There ain't no way.
And you don't.
If
know
he's
what-
right up on me, oh man.
What's
Game
hard
over.
is you don't always know where they're going to come from.
no, you hear it here in front
Yeah.
of you, but he
That
might.
turkey might circle
circle
around
around.
behind you, and all of a sudden you hear just
Yeah, too late then.
He's right there.
he's right. If you hear that, that's him spitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's drumming, dragging them feathers in the leaves. He's close, and if he's behind you, that's so nerve wracking, and you can't turn around and look at him. And he might brush you when he walks by you. He's that close.
It's a good feeling though.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. This weekend we got some to dos. Then we got to pattern guns.
Yep.
Got to move some blinds. Got to move the cameras because
Got to look for some sheds.
see we ain't done that yet.
And our deers.
I kinda-
Still got horns.
They still now. I did notice like yesterday, today when I looked on cameras, there's less and less with them because you were seeing the little spikes and little
Yeah.
4 points with them now. Who was it? Was it you telling me the way a good way to
Yeah.
tell is with their white?
white
around the
around the eyes on it.
Yeah.
So an older man, I guess, was Daddy got to talking to him. I don't remember where he was at, Walmart or something. And he said, Daddy, he said, you know how you tell the difference in a buck and a doe in the summer when they don't have antlers or spring? I was like, no, I never thought about it. But if you look right here,
I mean, it's
They-
white,
they
but
got
it's not a
white-
white. It's not a white ring like
Yeah.
a doe will have.
yeah. A doe really don't have anything around their eyes, but that one right there, that buck there, they'll have white around their eyes. And I was like, well, heck.
Never
So I've been
thought about
looking,
that.
you know,
Yeah, going back and seeing
Yeah.
you spot it. And speaking of Oderio Sling Blade, we didn't even say
Yeah.
nothing about him.
our special guest.
Yeah, it finally got that Hunter. We had Hunter on the show talking taxidermy. That's a cool mount.
Yeah, he done
is.
good on it.
It's like a backpack style.
It's rustic, and I like it because it's actually a tan cape. So, I mean, the cape's soft as can be. I mean,
But that's
Yeah, you
pretty
can make,
cool
you can make a
right
rug out of it.
Yeah.
there. Yeah, for sure.
but he done good.
That's different.
That old deer had some stories on him.
Got an old kicker on the backside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark didn't even notice it till we got it back, and I said something to him about it.
That was one we wanted to take off, and that's the one you took off, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It's been that long? It took a year to do it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't
it
last.
was-
It wasn't last. It wasn't
It
this
wasn't
past
this past
season,
season, season
yeah.
before. So it'd been season of 2021, 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our
Turned out
number
good.
one cold buck.
Which I did. Me and Marley, my dog, was on the tractor the other day, and I did have to stop a couple times in plantation, let her out of the tractor, and I did kind of walk around. But
Did you find?
I didn't find. I found a shed that it had to been. I mean, it was from a year or two ago, but there's no way that shed was there the whole time. It had to been a squirrel brought out of the woods because we'd been in the road over on side by side. But
I say that about that other skull we found.
Yeah.
In the field,
it was on the.
I wonder how many Tim's disced up before
There's no
we
telling.
have.
Well,
you
see,
know,
that's
that we
what-
didn't see. And
Well, me and Mark was talking to Wes about out there his place, and he said, he don't. It's not easy to see now, but he'll come in the spray,
And it
get his
kills
crop
everything
ready,
off.
and then he said them white horns and that brown
Yeah.
grass. He said they stay.
I'm going to my honey hole Friday. out there in the pines.
That's
No,
where
you're not.
get-
You ain't going nowhere Friday. You're going bowling Friday.
We might go in the morning.
I'm going.
Here, Malcolm doing these events again.
He probably ain't gonna show up Friday.
For what?
Bowling.
Company bowling.
Bowling.
Everybody gets a sore. Nobody doing nothing Saturday.
I got all kinds of stuff I got to do this weekend.
Yeah, I might sneak down there
Apparently, I
Saturday
got to buy
morning.
some more turkey ammo.
Yeah. Walmart's actually got a decent selection right now.
All Daddy shoots is. I tried to get him on them TSSs.
He's
or
shooting
whatever.
federals.
He shoots some old federals. He shot for 40 years.
Well, see, that's what I was telling Malcolm like years ago. That's all I shot was the Federals because your daddy was shooting them and they
Oh,
patterned
Daddy
really
killed him
good.
50, 60 yards.
And I moved to those Remington Nitros that they pattern real good. But the shells I bought, I looked at some different things on shells and those TSS and those Winchester XRs.
Yeah,
supposed to be really
XR's
good
supposed to be
shells.
bad too.
Mhm.
We used to shoot those Supremes. They were good. That's what my Bonelli liked, at least.
Well, I had on here we was going to talk about some of our trapping stuff. We're going to carry that over.
All right.
And I want to talk about what we always talk about what we've been cooking. I wanted to talk about, y'all went out the dark corner to Wes's last
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
He brought up Wes, and he has a little annual cook-off I don't know why he does it in February. I wish he'd move months. But it's always in February. He does a wild game element to it. It's like, was it steak and ribs and
steak,
chicken?
ribs,
but
chicken,
he
and
has a mystery
yeah.
wild game category. And what was it this year?
Canadian goose.
Goose.
And believe it or not, I was not a judge on the goose side of it, but I pretty much tried everybody's goose.
How did you see how did people cook the goose? Like what
Yeah,
was it?
Every
whatever you
which
can
way.
imagine.
Really?
We
We'll
sit
let
there-
Mikey start it. How'd you cook your goose?
Oh, I cooked mine like a steak, like we cook ducks.
No, tell the whole
Oh,
spiel.
No, I didn't present it like that, but I cooked it on the grill like we cook steak, like we cook our ducks.
It's hot and fast.
Seasoned up like a steak. Brought it out, cut it real thin. I laid down tortilla chips. I put a little white Poncho's dip on them. Dropped one thin strip of that steak on each chip.
Yeah.
I'd
So you
sauteed some
goose nachos.
juice
They were
nachos. So I
good.
had sauteed onions. I dropped on each one of the
Yeah,
chips, and then
yeah.
a pickled jalapeno I put on there, and then I covered them laced them with barbecue sauce on like barbecue nachos.
They were good.
Hey, how was it?
They were good. They
They
How
were
were
did
good.
it
good.
do? What it?
Oh, I don't even know. I didn't win.
Oh. So what else? So what else did you see?
Let's see. Drake, he did same thing that Mike talking about steak, and
Seared?
it was
Yes,
good. Charles, our buddy Charles done the most controversial one, and so he cut the breast up, and if you seen it sitting on his turning box, you would swear up and down he done turned in bacon wrap.
Bacon
plate.
wrap medallion.
Really? What he just cut in shape?
He shaped it up, 3 or 4 inch diameter, and it
It's really a good idea.
when we was I was in there when they was doing it, and everybody's like, somebody just screwed up and turned in steak too early.
They thought it was filet beef.
Yeah.
And
I had to come in and
well, it was actually
Verify it.
verify because he cooked next to me.
yeah, because I seen it and I was like, listen, I know I'm not saying whose it was, but I know for a fact this is his. And one of the game wardens out there, he actually sliced it, and when he sliced it, believe it or not, he pulled out a feather. He's like, yeah,
There's a
So-
feather. He left a feather in it.
not
I
on
think it was BB
purpose.
pushed it in.
Oh,
like where it got
yeah.
shot.
oh, yeah.
And, well-
inside the meat.
Mm.
I tried it.
And Jamie got the
I got
BB.
the BB, so I'm like, I got 100% proof this is
It
good.
was shot by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5 shot.
But then we had some really, really, really good. They cut up little strips and fried it. It was real good.
Well, like gravy.
Oh,
It was real good. What
nobody
did-
made a goose gumbo.
no,
Oh,
not
somebody
good.
done
no.
some goose Brias tacos.
They
They
were
look
good.
good.
They were good. I mean, I
So it
sampled
was
each one
pretty
of them,
inventive.
and
Yeah.
nothing was off gamey taste. Everything was really, really
I think
good.
the one that won it was like some kind of goose over like dirty rice,
It was, yeah. I tried it.
and it looked good. I couldn't eat none of it because I wasn't sure if I was going to die or not. So
So you cooked the hog out there for
Yeah, I
everybody
cooked
to
the
eat
whole
on
hog,
after
yeah.
this is all said and done. How'd that go?
it went good. It went good. I was a little under the weather, so I really wasn't focused as much as I'd like to. But we cooked 139
Yeah.
pound hog. Cooked it in
Got it
6
from Como Pasture, Home Place
Place
Pasture in
Pastures.
Como. It was
cooked it
hog.
6 hours flat.
Turn out good.
Yeah, it was real good. Learned a little bit in the cook process, so that's a big thing. But we pulled it and had a couple of people come up. They wanted to see the whole deal on the presentation, and we pulled. I don't know how much bacon. That was
I mean, we probably, after it's all said and done, might have had maybe 1 or 2, probably 2 gallon Ziploc bags left
They
over,
ate.
probably.
Man, that's
they ate some hog,
yeah, because that's probably 70 pounds of meat by the
Yeah.
time it's all pulled.
but it was good. It was good. It was real good.
Wow. I did something that we definitely need to do at camp. I bought, so y'all, I know everybody been to Sam's. You know how they sell them $1.50 hot dog combos or whatever? They have, like, over in their cooler, there was the hot dogs. It's like sold in Sam's Deli or whatever.
Really?
It was like 12-pack of them. You got 6 and 6. And I was like, all right, I'm getting these and cooking. So I took them to camp, and it was just me and Shell and Michael went down for Friday. And I was like, well, let's just cook some hot dogs. And she's like, I'll fire the grill up or whatever. She said, why don't you do them on the Blackstone? And I was like, just a Blackstone dog? And she's like, yeah. So I said, all right, I'll do it. So I got the Blackstone, fired it up. Man, I'm going to tell y'all ever done a big quarter pound all beef hot dog on the Blackstone?
I had.
Dude, it's like you roll them. I just take the spatula and line them up and roll them like they was on a roller. I'd roll them all the way to the back slowly and then back to the front. And I just sit out there and slow cook them dudes. Man, they were juicy. The casing got perfect on them. And then, so she bought some sauerkraut. And I was like, what if I throw this sauerkraut on that griddle too? I did the buns on the griddle. I had my sauerkraut going. Man, some charred up, flat top sauerkraut on an all beef hot dog, quarter pound dog with the bun toasted on the griddle.
Jamie's loving this.
Sounds great, but sauerkraut part.
Oh, dude, you don't like sauerkraut?
No. Something that smells that bad can't taste good.
Jeez, sauerkraut.
Delicious.
I put you out on the corner with one of them carts.
Man, I'm telling you, I can run the hot dog cart now, Mikey. No joke. I got it. But I'm going to cook those for y'all next time we go down there. I mean, we made coleslaw. You could make any kind of dog you wanted to make. We had a dog bar. Everybody got 2 quarter-pound dogs.
That's my kind of party. I love them hot dogs.
Man, you can't beat it. On the Blackstone, if y'all ain't tried that, y'all are missing out.
Daddy's done it. I've never done it. Daddy does it.
You can cook a lot of dogs on a
They got
36
Kroger's got them big
Blackstone.
colossals. We'll just go get
Oh,
them.
yeah. See, that's what I bought before. These blow the colossals.
Really?
I blow the colossals away.
You just got to prove it. All I can
Better
tell you.
than the Nathan's.
Better than
Colossal.
Nathan's?
Yes, better than the Nathan's.
I don't know.
Colossal.
Nathan's
I
hard to
promise
beat.
you. I don't know what.
And where did you
members,
pick these
Sam's?
up? At Sam's?
Yeah, Members Mark brand. It's like their brand
Oh.
hot dog.
I think Buck Junkies needs a hot dog roller. We
We
get
got a
Shell on
Blackstone.
that.
You don't just need the Blackstone. You don't have to
Somebody
roll
sit there
them
and roll it.
constantly. You just 1 minute, give them a little push. 1 minute. I just drank beer while I was sitting there too. I had me a stool.
You just need to
It was
get
the
one,
hot dog man.
You just need to get one side a little
it
bit
took me-
higher, and you just drop it. It gradually
Slow-
rolls
oh,
all the
yeah,
way
put-
across.
If you can figure that out, you can just roll them, let them roll down.
Is that how you can write out your recipe?
Yeah.
Drink a beer, roll. Drink
That's
a beer,
how you
roll.
do it. 6 beers in, you're good. Oh, I had it low as it goes, so it wasn't like I was in a hurry. I wasn't trying to cook them fast. I was just sitting outside rolling dogs.
It is lunchtime.
Yeah, it is getting lunchtime. Well, before we get out of here, this was I wanted to hit some questions and comments from social media. Like, we got a TikTok page, Facebook page, YouTube page, and I just grabbed a few of them today. This is just quick. I want to talk about it, but somebody wanted to know what seasoning that we used on that summer sausage, Mikey. You remember?
Yeah, we used a packet from Towns and Spice. We bought those. It comes in like a kit. They sell you the kit. It's got the mustard seed. It's got the sausage seasoning. It's got the pink salt. It's got the cure too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got everything.
All of it was there. We got that one from
It's enough
Towns
to
and
make
Spice.
12 sticks.
And you could reach out to Townsend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look them up.
Townsend in Arkansas.
Townsend Spice and Supply
In Melbourne, Arkansas. Is where they make different ones. I like that one personally.
Yeah.
And it was, we made it twice.
Yeah.
First time we didn't add the mustard seeds is we didn't know if we'd like them, and it was missing that little
kind of
tang.
thing,
Yeah. So we did add them this time, and I like the mustard seeds in it. You don't even know they're in there.
Yeah.
It gives it that little citric acid kind of flavor to it, and some people do that. They'll add citric acid instead of the mustard seed.
And that one was good enough that we didn't even try another one. It
No, we were happy.
I felt
with
like
it.
we hit it on the first go.
Now, this was new to us. I'd never made something. Me and Mikey did one test batch, and then we made
Test
the
batch.
other.
Well, I was down there for a beginner's run.
Shoot.
Yeah.
It was better than most I've had.
But that was, so you can check that out, or you can buy the limb stuff too. They make them. What's another one that does? Backwoods or something like
Backwoods,
that.
yeah.
AC legs or JC legs
Yeah,
or somebody does
I think
one.
they have one. The other question that I just made a note of was what was that cooking process? So we didn't really show how we cooked those once we got them cased. What you do, the proper way to do it, you got to start the sausage off low, like 140.
Yeah.
You're supposed to hold it there for like 2 hours, step it up to 150, hold it there for like 2 hours, and then take it up to 160 or 165, whatever cooker you're using, and you finish it at 165. Well, our cooker would not do that low.
Which
And
y'all was doing
I
on
would think-
pellet grill.
Yeah, we were doing it on pellet grill, and I'm sure most people's won't.
Yeah.
If you're doing this outside, like we were just on one of your pellet grills, I mean, we did it on a Grilla, and I ran the Traeger for that last batch, and the Grilla would go down to 180, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The Traeger would only do like 185, and it didn't like staying down there. So we ran them at what the temperature we had. We just knew that we wanted to watch that internal and not let them get too hot. Because the thing with the summer sausage is you're adding the fat to it, and this fat is supposed to be kind of immersed in the sausage. It's not melted. It's not rendered out. The fat's supposed to stay there. You just have to get it to the proper temperature. Same thing with the lean meat you put in it. And so taking it through those stages of heat helps stabilize it. You put the cure in it, your seasonings, it's all preserved. It's meant to have a long shelf life. That's the whole thing with summer sausage. You make it in the winter and eat it in the summer. That's why it's called summer sausage. But so what we did was we run ours as low as we could get it, put a probe in it, and we stopped it at 160. And then we put it in an ice bath. The reason why we stopped it at 160 is because our heat was a little higher, and we knew it was going to carry over a little bit, so we were at the right temp. And then we stuck it down in some ice water for what, 15 minutes?
Yeah, 15, 20
Just
minutes.
to bring the core temp down, and then you let it air dry.
So can you do this? Somebody didn't have a pellet grill. Can they do it in an oven?
You can do it in
Yeah,
your
you
oven
can
at
do
your
it in an
house. Most definitely. You could definitely do that. That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Some people do it even non-cased, like
Yeah.
Jay's recipe. He said
You cook it a little bit hotter that way, but you cook it fast enough to where it doesn't render everything.
yeah.
It just gets to that temperature and stops, It's not the same texture, I wouldn't think, because, that what y'all cooked was perfect summer sausage texture, in my opinion.
It did not have the oily,
It wasn't waxy,
filmy taste or waxy
wasn't
taste.
watery.
See, that's the thing. I've got what made me want to make my own. I bought it from processors in the past, and they cook it. I guess they're doing so much of it and cooking it so hot or whatever that all that fat renders and it pushes it out against the casing.
Yeah.
So when you slice into it, you've got this wad of melted fat that's done harden back up all on the outside of your sausage. It's greasy.
You can see it when you cut it. A little
Yeah.
white ring will
Yeah,
come up when
yeah.
you slice through it.
That's not the proper way to do it. I'm not
And-
saying our way is the proper way, but it's how we started. We're still learning.
Yeah.
We're
And
not pros at making sausage.
And two, if you got a grill or something you can't get to keep that low, you can always take a full pan with some ice in it or
Yeah,
something
chill
to
it.
insulate it, or there's ways to go about doing it if you can improvise.
I'd like to get a controlled smoker that was meant to do that, to where you could step it through those and make some. I mean, because the whole process of it wasn't that hard.
No,
It takes a little time, but it's not hard.
no, it didn't take long at all. I mean, by the time you grind it and season it, grind it and stuff it, I mean, it's really not that bad.
What was y'all's total? What was y'all's time on the cooker? Probably
5 hours.
5 hours.
5 hours.
And that's because we were running a little bit hotter. It
Little
probably
bit
would have
hotter.
took
Yeah, about 8,
7 or 8
yeah.
if we
Yeah.
had it at 150.
I imagine it would take you two. That's halfway. You bit 150, and then it'd probably take you 6 more to get to 160 or whatever it'd take. I don't know. I've never done it that way. I've seen people say they can do it in 7 or 8. So
Might have to make a pork sausage this spring.
yeah. Next on my agenda is doing some jerky.
Yeah.
We hadn't done a video on that. I got plenty of meat in the freezer now, ready to go. So
Well,
Better than some good deer jerky.
well, Mark, you want to take us out? That does
Yes,
it for
sir. Y'all make sure to check buckjunkies.com out for all the apparel. If y'all got any questions, let us know. Of course, we got podcasts coming out on all the platforms, YouTube videos. We still got a bunch in the works. Y'all keep following along. We'll take you along with us, and that's all I got.
Hey, we'll see y'all next time. We gone.